Hello, everybody. Thank you for listening to My City Talks. This is the podcast powered by My City, My Health. And I'm bringing you today, once again, the homie,
Yeah.
Austin. Thank you so much for being here. First of all, he's a part of the Housing is Medicine panel at this year's My City, My Health conference.
hmm
And I'm excited to bring your expertise and just your thoughtfulness around the community. So, before we get into everything, can you tell the people a little bit about your experience within the population, into what got you into that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been in and around this field, if you will, probably almost close to 10 years. Started just volunteering stuff. But, I was working in sales for a little bit, and then just wanted something else that would fulfill my life and fulfill my purpose, to serve other people. And I was going through a hard time at the same time, like trying to figure out my purpose and like trying to, what do I do with my
Yeah.
life? You know what I mean? We've all been there at some point.
Yeah.
um, I've been there a few times. But when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, I met with a close mentor of mine at that time, and he suggested, why don't you go like try serving other people before yourself for one time? Okay, I guess, I've never done anything like that. I was usually pretty quiet, pretty shy, would never really put myself out there like that,
Right.
and let alone go volunteer. I'd like to stay to myself, stay at home. I'm a homebody. Um, so, I took him up on the challenge though, and said, what do you got for me then, And so he helped me get plugged in with Joppa, the Homeless Resource Center, and I was volunteering with them for almost a full 10 years. And then at the same time, I got plugged into a program at the church called The Landing, and we focused there on 13 to 18-year-olds. So really like middle school to high school age, and whatever they were dealing with, addiction, got in an argument with mom and dad, or
Mm,
whatever they're going through, they could come to a safe place and talk with somebody that was unbiased in whatever the situation was,
right.
and get some things off their chest. So it was a good time, and we had a baby recently, a couple months ago, 8 months ago. So we stepped away from that for volunteering wise, but yeah, I was doing that for probably about 9 years, almost eight, roughly. So yeah, with the homeless population though, with Joppa specifically, we would go out every single week. They still do it every single week, going out to different campsites, different homeless resource centers, libraries. Um, I would do a route typically that would go to people's houses or apartments, usually subsidized housing, Section 8, and a whim, and you name it. There's all sorts of different housing programs, but we would go to where they're at, meet the clients where they were, provide them with food, hygiene kits, a listening ear. You know what I mean?
Right.
Whatever they needed at the time, we're here for them. And the way I figured, is 4 or 5 hours out of my month that I could give to them, and
Right.
like that's nothing. So it was always a joy to go and do Joppa and go out there on the routes. So, but yeah, was plugged in with them for a long time. Um, that was before COVID. I gotta think before COVID. Like my construct
Right.
time is all around that now. Um, so before COVID, that happened. I was working for a while in sales, like I mentioned, and it was cool. But again, I needed something more that was going to fulfill my life, my life's purpose. And um, so I quit my job. And then, I'm not even kidding, like 4 weeks later, COVID happened. And it shut
Oh.
everything down. I was going to pursue my art full time, actually.
Mm,
And I had the next probably 6 or 7 months planned out for myself, and different shows, different galleries, and whatnot. Um, and then, boom, COVID happened. And I'm like, well, okay, like, not that's not
dang.
happening. So I did the whole DoorDash delivery driver thing, for a while,
You
and
had to thug it out for a
yeah,
minute.
yeah,
Yeah.
odd end jobs, painting people's houses and interiors and stuff like that. And just on a whim, applied for a job at Hyatt Middle School, with Boys and Girls Club. Got plugged in there, working with middle schoolers all day, all year round, which was a lot of fun. But where the middle school I was at, um, it was about roughly 70 to 75% of the kids that were going to the school were living in some level of poverty,
Mm,
or below the poverty line, rather. So that kind of put it in perspective for me. I knew it was a reality for people, but now that I was in close proximity to it, like man, I feel like I gotta just do something about this, you know? I never really had to worry about much growing up, you know,
Right.
I recognize the privilege that I've got as a little straight white dude in the middle of America. I don't really have to worry about much, you know?
Mhm.
So if I can offer um my expertise, my knowledge, who I know, be a connector for other people or families in that case, then I'm gonna do it, you know, so to help better their lives. But um, I'm not gonna do anything for them. I'm gonna do it with them too. So
Right.
I'm not gonna say, hey, like go figure it out. Here's what I know. But sometimes people don't know what to do with that, or
Man, that's real.
other times it's like, okay, cool, but how am I gonna get in contact with this person, or how am I gonna go to this place if I don't have a car or bus pass or
Right.
whatever. So I'd really try to be intentional about doing things with the families at the middle school, getting them plugged into resources in the community, getting them whatever help they needed, whether it was a place. I'd really try to do my best and do it with them. Um, so you know, that's still a reality, not just in the middle school, but within the whole Des Moines public school system. Last year, it was reported that about 720 families were classified homeless.
Mm.
And, you know, families could have 1 to 6 to 10 kids
Man,
each, you know?
yeah.
So it's, you know, you got 750 families roughly that are classified homeless. You got maybe double that, triple that in kids that are homeless now. So fast forward a little bit after Boys and Girls Club at Hyatt Middle School, I got plugged into Iowa Homeless Youth Centers, downtown Des Moines. We're part of a bigger organization, YSS, but what we focused on in Des Moines in the metro
Mhm.
was the homeless youth, 18 to 25. Um, so there was a drop-in center in Des Moines on Locust Street, still is there, and will hopefully be there forever,
Yeah.
as long as we need it. Um, but annually, when I was working there, we served closer to 500 to 600 kids, 18 to 24, or 18 to 25. So um, you know, the need is great. It still is great. The
Mhm.
numbers dwindling a little bit, but you know, we're trying to get kids into housing and keep the housing, get them
Man,
jobs and keep the job, so you can pay for the housing and stay there. You know, um, but it's there's a lot of factors that go into being homeless, you know,
yeah.
and you know, some of the common, let's say, misconceptions of it are, you know, it's a drug issue, it's an alcohol issue, um, mommy, daddy didn't love them enough to keep them at home, or whatever it may be.
Right.
There's so many different variables that could go into why an 18-year-old is homeless now. Um, but at the root of it, it's a housing issue. You know what I mean? Like we're building all these new apartments around just in the metro here in Des Moines, central Des Moines, that my wife and I, who have good paying jobs, that would be a stretch for us to pay for
Man.
a one bedroom nonetheless, you know? You know, so you think about all the apartments being built here, it's cool, great, there's gonna be more people here, hopefully revitalize Des Moines, whatever, whatever. But okay, what are we gonna do about the homeless population now?
Right.
If we say we don't want homeless population in Des Moines, we don't want them to be visible, cool, where are you gonna put them?
Right.
You know, what are we doing actively, to make sure that they have a place to go?
Yeah, you can't pretend they're not there,
They're
and
there.
like then the problem's
Yeah.
gonna go away magically,
Yeah,
right?
100%, 100%.
Like that makes no sense.
Yeah.
That makes no sense to me.
Well, and it's not just a Des Moines issue, kinda like what we talked a little bit
Yeah.
about off camera with, you know, it's everywhere. When I was working there, we served kids from Ankeny, Waukee, Des Moines, obviously, but largely in part, Polk County, you know,
Mm.
but we served from Dallas County. We had kids coming from out of state even finding their way here. I had a couple from out of country somehow
Wow.
found their way here. Um, so yeah, there has to be an action plan. I'll say a better action plan than the one there is now,
Yeah.
of bulldozing things and making sure that they don't have a place to go. Because where are they gonna go? You can't just keep pushing them out, until they don't have anywhere to go.
Right. I
So
feel like something you said earlier about, getting them into the home and keeping them into the home in the home.
yeah,
I feel like a lot of people have this misconception of like once you get them in the home, job's done. Like now I almost feel like getting them into the apartment, that's when the work actually starts.
1000%. Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's what okay, now, okay, what do we got put in place for you to keep this
Mhm.
and your job and not only keep the home and keep the job, what does it mean to set you up to where now you have the confidence to keep this?
Mm.
Like, there's so many pieces to that. Walk me through. Were you involved in any of like the like that
Oh,
like?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
tell me about that. Um, what was that like? What was for you? What was that like for the individual? Because I can
Mm.
only assume maybe there could be a lot of like pressure felt like, oh, now I gotta like keep this.
Mhm.
Like, what
Mhm.
was that like?
Man, again, there are so many disparities between the housing, environment in Des
Hmm.
Moines, like, still, but, um, yeah, when we move a kid into their own apartment for the first time maybe, or the 4th time, you know what I mean? Wherever they're at in the journey, we're gonna still be there with them. Um, I remember vividly moving somebody in, to their first apartment. Um, it almost brought tears to my eyes just because, like, we're moving, this heavy furniture, like moving a couch, we're moving a TV, we're moving all these different things into their own apartment, and they're just they can't stop smiling ear from ear. You know what I mean? I'm like, man, to me, like this is my job, but also I've had an apartment before and I've kept an apartment, and
Yeah,
like I wouldn't live here. You know what I mean? But to them, it's
it's
home, and
yeah,
it's where they gotta be. And they're so psyched up about their own place,
it's there. Yeah,
and so I was working there, and even with when I was working with Joppa, volunteering with Joppa, we really were intentional about making sure that they felt equipped to be in an apartment, or a housing situation, of something else, but, how do we also walk alongside them now that they're out of our program? So if they moved into an apartment with Anawim or Section 8, we didn't just say, "Alright, good luck,
right.
see you later, figure it out, we're gonna be down here if you need us again."
Hmm.
Um, we're intentional about making sure that they're good to go, you know what I mean? And not just this month, not next month, not the month after that. For a whole year, we would try to be very intentional about, hey, if you need food, if you need clothes, call us. We'll deliver things to you.
Right.
Um, but there's so many cases, and like we've moved kids into apartments in awful neighborhoods, where they're just like, I don't feel safe here, and so they come and hang
Mm,
out at the shelter because that's where they feel safe, and that's where their people are, that's where staff are, where we can talk with them and make sure they feel
yeah.
okay. Therapy is there, so um, yeah, we've had kids get their own apartment in a bad neighborhood, or where they felt unsafe, and they don't ever want to be there because they're
Right.
unsafe.
They're unsafe. And yeah.
Man, so when that's compromised, like I think that's another issue in itself. But because we can say we've housed this many kids this year and this many kids next year, um, but how many of those kids and young adults are feeling safe and feel
Right.
equipped to keep those apartments and want to stay there? And because of that, if they want to feel safe, if they do feel safe, if they feel equipped, and if they feel like they're ready for an apartment, they're gonna have some pride in owning that apartment, and,
Yeah.
and making sure, like, oh, I gotta keep this, I gotta keep it clean, I gotta make sure it's orderly. I'm not gonna try to be here forever. I'm gonna try to keep going and keep pushing,
100%.
to something better and something greater. So, and we've had a lot of cases like that where kids move into, studio apartment that's disgusting. I mean, we're walking in, they've got cockroaches going around the floor, and
Uh,
it's gross. But they're like, I know this is temporary. I'm not gonna be here forever. I'm gonna be my lease is for a year, so I gotta be here for at least a
yeah.
year. But once that year is up, my plan is I'm gonna move over here. It's safer, it's better, it's whatever. And we're gonna make sure that they can get to that point.
Yeah.
So
Levels. Like, you got to
yeah.
start somewhere. And
Mhm.
just even, for me, when I hear that, it's like, man, even just the possibility or the opportunity to have that option,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Of even just to start. So you may not like it, but this is where you start, and knowing like,
Yeah.
okay, one, if I if I feel unsafe or if I feel like I need a extra support, I know I can always go back and get that stuff if I
Mhm.
need it
Mhm.
to help me continue with my confidence to keep growing in myself and to move on to wherever that next space is.
Mhm.
Um, within that age group, because you have a lot of experience with kind of that younger population,
Mhm.
is there something that like old people or like adults just don't get or understand about
Mhm.
the unhoused situation when it comes to that age group?
Oh, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
where is the disconnect there?
Hmm. Man, there's so many routes I could go with where that disconnect is. I can speak to myself. Like before I even was involved with the homeless population in Des Moines, I see the guy on the corner of the highway begging for dollars, and like, all right, man, just go get a job. It's not that hard. The McDonald's right there. You can go
Right,
get a job at McDonald's. You don't have to be here all day outside. But um, the more I was engaged with the community, the more I realized it's not that easy.
mm,
And my judgment came first rather than my help. And that was an issue, you know.
right,
So I think where the disconnect comes is those misconceptions I talked about a little bit, that oh, it's a drug issue, it's an alcohol issue, it's a whatever issue. It's not cheap to live in America right now.
man,
I mean, it's cheaper than other places, I'm sure, especially in the Midwest. But um, to afford an apartment, you gotta also afford groceries. You gotta
yep.
afford clothes. You know what I mean? And then you want to go out and you want to feel good about living, yeah, exactly. You wanna
Right,
go have fun maybe sometimes and go to the arcade or whatever, um, and be a human, and sometimes they're not even afforded that luxury because they can't afford it, and to me, that's disheartening. And so when I'm going out, like, part of my job at the shelter was, having these hard conversations with people and, specifically donors, and, it's fundraising at its core is fun for me because I get to storytell.
mm,
And I'm not really like storytelling about a client specifically, but about, it might be about the dollars, like the amount of dollars, whatever the amount is, it's going to go to impact this specific need. And once I kind of break it down in that regard, the older generation or those older donors that I'm going to, it opens their eyes, and it almost brightens their face a little bit.
mm,
Like, oh my gosh, like I could have a real impact on this kid's life, or hundreds of kids' lives. Whether it's $50, whether it's $10,
yeah,
whether it's $50,000, there's impact at every single level. So there's so many different, again, levels, to use your term. There's so many different levels to understanding what it means to be homeless in Des Moines and anywhere for that matter. Being homeless is you just don't have an apartment or a house to call your place. It could be you got kids living in their cars, you got kids
yo,
living under the bridge, and I mean, or in a campsite, which is like actually the what's the word I want to use? The word's escaping me, but when you think of homeless, it's under the bridge, or it's in a tent
yeah,
in the middle of the woods or whatever. But we got kids living in the cars. There's kids living in an apartment with 4 or 5 other people, couch surfing. You know what I mean? Living in the skywalk right now. So wherever they can find a place to rest their head, they're
yeah.
gonna call home. But
That's where I was gonna go with that go there with you next, is that hidden homeless population. Those
hmm
that are living in cars. You wouldn't The ones that you would almost not even know they were homeless, or they didn't know they were, like, they're living with a group of people, or they're couch surfing
yeah,
because they have a home, it's just not their home,
hmm
right? And I'm curious of, like, and from my understanding is, like, it's hard to account for those individuals because
yes,
they're not your stereotypical homeless that is on the street or at a campsite or
hmm
whatever. You don't know how to account for them.
yeah.
How do you identify those kids or those individuals? Or is it just something where you're just hoping they just come to you?
Yeah,
Right.
it's really that latter piece of it. I mean, all the people in the metro that work with the population, we do something called a pit count,
Mm,
point in time count. So we're literally going out to the campsites, resource centers, gas stations, libraries. I mean, wherever the homeless population might be living or staying,
mhm.
they're going out and counting heads. Like there's 4 people here, there's 7 people here, and so on.
Oh,
And then at the end of the night, it's during the night usually, or during the course of a day, full day. At the end of it, they all come back together and they're like, all right, we found 4 people here, we found 7 people here, and so on, and everybody reports back. And then we kind of we count them all up that way. It seems like such a an ancient way to do that, but it's effective to a point.
Right.
Because like you said, like the kids living in the Skywalk cars, wherever, there's not a good way to account for them until they show up to our doors or to Central Iowa Shelter Services doors or
Mhm.
wherever, Bidwell, for, any of the food pantries, DMARC's food pantries, until they show up to a place or a resource center like primary health care, um, they're not going to be counted for,
Right.
So, um, we've served hundreds of kids over the course of the last couple of years, almost thousands of kids over the last couple of years. Um, a lot of those are reoccurring, and we want to make sure that it's not reoccurring anymore, and so that we can say we didn't serve 400 kids this year, we served 200, same like the individual kids.
Oh,
You know what I
gotcha.
mean? Instead
Yeah.
of counting them double for the amount of services that we're giving. But still, there's a lot of people that don't know that we're like YSS is in downtown Des Moines, that Central Iowa Shelter
Man.
Services is even over there on Mulberry. There are a lot of resources in the metro. They're all stretched really thin, but they're there,
Amen to that. Yeah.
and I used to ask people all the time, "Have you ever heard of what YSS does, or Iowa Homeless Youth Centers, or do you know where primary health care is, or anything like that? Do you know where Broadlawns is at?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "No, I have no idea what that is, or what's Broadlawns, or what's PHC,"
Mhm.
So yeah, it's still there's still unknowns, and I mean, admittedly, like, every time I'd have to drive down to the East Village on Locust Street, I would pass right by where I used to work and
Mhm.
not have any clue that that's a homeless shelter. So,
Yeah.
for people, I mean, part of my job was also to bring in people from the community and say like, "Hey, this is what we're doing here. This is how many people we're serving every single year, and we can't do it for free. We don't charge our clients for anything, of course, but we want to make sure that we have your support financially and your support, you know, volunteering if you want to get
Right.
involved that way, or if you're in conversation with people, we want to make sure that we can get your support.
Mhm.
And like, oh, I have a connection now to somewhere else where it's
Right.
valuable to something you're talking about or someone you're talking about. So,
No, that was cool, man. And you're part of the housing is medicine panel.
mhm.
And like what I heard you say before was like um what I heard was like the mental health piece of the resource that you guys provide. You guys provide structure, and then when you find them a home, that like that sense of, oh my gosh, like this is mine. And
Mhm.
I can only imagine what that little piece does for not only their mental health, but also it gets them onto a path of preventative care. That's kind of like, okay,
Yeah.
now you can focus on other aspects of your life and of
Mhm.
your health. So like I'm sure there's always gonna be stress. Everybody has stress, right?
Mhm.
But like
Mhm.
you can manage your stress more. Now you're not you're a couple steps away from that survival mode that you were in
Yeah.
always.
Yeah.
Which like when you're in survival mode, like
Just you got the blinders on,
yo, yeah, now you
Yeah.
can breathe a little bit.
Mhm.
Now you can focus on something else.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
can you talk a little bit about like the granted, neither of us are mental health licensed
Yeah.
therapists. Don't
Not yet.
listen
Not
to me.
yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Yeah. Not yet. I'm in school right now to go do
Okay.
that.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
until then,
Yes. Until then.
listen to you, kinda.
Yeah, kind of, but still see a
But
therapist.
still, oh, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
my bad.
How walk me through like that piece of it, like
Yeah.
the being able to connect them to a PHC,
Mhm.
and just getting them that closer to taking care of their whole health.
Yeah, well, housing and shelter is a basic need. Like,
Yeah.
it has to be. I try to put it in my own perspective in my own life, and, like, if I don't have food, if I don't have water, if I don't have shelter, if I don't have, clothing, I don't I can't think about anything else,
Man,
you know?
that's real.
Especially if I'm hangry, I can't think about much
Yo.
else other than that. Uh, um, and, you could imagine if you don't have housing, how are you gonna possibly think about where you're gonna get your next meal, if you gotta figure out where you're gonna sleep for the night and be safe about it. So, yeah, I mean, once we got that basic need filled, it's it's usually we got housing, we got water, we got food, we got clothing for them. They got everything they need to be successful, and we want to set them up to be successful and go be the best version of themselves. But that can't start without no shelter. With if we don't have any shelter for them, they don't have anywhere to go. Like I said, they can't begin to dream. They can't begin to think about what's next.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, as soon as I get housing, as soon as I get a comfortable place to be mentally, and not even mentally, but physically even as well. We get them plugged in with mental health therapy and um, even what I do now that I'm not working with YSS anymore is making sure that we're big advocates for mental health and therapy and counseling of all sorts.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm a huge proponent of that.
Yeah. I love that. I love that.
Saved my life many times,
Oh,
just in the counseling sessions I've been a part of. But and I haven't even gone through anything extreme like being homeless. Um, so yeah, I mean that's one component of it. Another component of it is the trauma that's attached to being homeless. And then also what led to them to be homeless. Sometimes they just get kicked out when they're 18 and
mhm.
they made a dumb decision when we all did when we were 18, that the parents didn't agree with or whatever it may be. And we're homeless all of a sudden, and we want to make sure that they feel again confident enough to be plugged into therapy, um, and kind of process some of that trauma. Um, but again, sometimes they're not ready for that.
Right.
Sometimes they're in the midst of the trauma,
Right.
and they're like, a crisis mode. You think of Maslow's hierarchy, like they're at that tip of the iceberg, crisis 100% of the time. Um, but until we can get them back to baseline, we're working with them hand in hand. And the first conversation isn't usually housing, or it's not usually even clothing. It's
Right.
are you hungry?
Yeah.
Are you thirsty right now? And we'll get some food and some drink for them, and then um, I used to say, we would do an intake process with them and make sure that we understood who they were and what their story was, and they understood who we were and what we're about. Um, but once we did that, then we could dream with them a little bit. What do you want
Mm,
to do with your life? Like, do you want to be a musician? Do you want to be an artist? Or,
yeah.
um, and sometimes as far as their dreams could go is, hey, I just want to get a part-time job at McDonald's or Burger King right now, and go get my GED at the same time. Like, amazing. You should do that.
Right. Yeah. I
Uh,
should do that.
we need those fast food workers still. We need those GED students still. We want you to get your degree,
Yeah.
or your diploma at least, and be set up for even more success after that. Um, but, after that, once you've been doing that for a little bit, let's continue to dream. Like, what else do you want? Sometimes I see kids all the time, not all the time. Sometimes I see them drawing, and that they're like even a better artist than I am, which is not that hard to be. um, and I'm like, man, like, why don't we pour into this a little bit more?
Man, that's real.
So we're trying to like pour into that. Have you thought about being an artist before? And like, well, I don't even know where to start with it. I'm like, I do. I can connect you with people or different resources or different places you should go to learn more about it if that's something that you want to pursue. Um, but honestly, most of the time we try to encourage the trades for a lot of the kids that are coming into our doors who are homeless, especially if they have their GED or a high school diploma. It's usually all you need to get plugged
Right.
into a trade. Go to the trade school,
Man,
get plugged in. You can make some money doing that.
good
Yeah,
money.
very good money.
Like, good
Very good
money.
money and discipline,
Yes.
among other things. But yeah, so I don't know where I was going with any of that, but hopefully
No,
that answered your
it
question.
it does.
Yeah.
There's what I appreciate about your answer in is that where they started is not where they're ending either. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
like you start here, and for a lot of these kids, I'm sure some of them, there is a sense of hopelessness.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'm homeless. Is not how no one envisions their life growing up homeless or being kicked out or whatever the
Mhm.
case may be.
Mhm.
Whatever the whatever the reason is, no one envisions them having to go there and look for these services.
Right.
And then like being able to be provided with a community resource that one doesn't attack you for what you did, are you thirsty?
Mm,
Right?
mhm.
Like, are you all like treating them like making them remember they're human,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I think as a
That's good.
society, we treat individuals that are in those situations like they're not human.
Mhm.
And like it taking someone to do a human act, right?
Mhm.
To get them to where they are,
Yeah,
like that is awesome.
yeah,
That is
yeah.
awesome. Um, man, my city, my health. This is your first time going?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Um,
Overdue
overdue.
on my
You
part.
know what I'm saying? It's not like not like be our fifth year, but
Yeah, I know, I
I'm messing
know. I'm
with
excited though.
you. Yeah, I was actually really excited about
Yeah.
what are you hoping that the people who are attending what they get out from got out of the session
Mhm.
that you're in with that housing is medicine panel.
Yeah.
Tell me how you feel.
Man, I'm excited, like I said, but I'm excited to learn from the other people on the panel, the people just attending too. I'm sure
Mhm.
I'm ready to learn and listen. More than I am ready to talk.
Yeah.
Um, but no, I'm even more excited too. I just this coming Monday and on July 20th, I'll be joining Above and Beyond Cancer as their giving and
Yeah.
outreach manager. So, very excited to join that small but mighty team, and Dr. Deming, of course. But and there's a lot of connections between the two. You know,
Oh,
housing is
yeah.
medicine, of course. But you know, why are we seeing higher cancer rates in Black and Brown communities? Why are we seeing such a stereotype of a certain cancer in a
Mhm.
community, and why are people not getting screened for a certain cancer? Or, you know, why
Yeah.
is Iowa number one in cancer rate, and we're
Man.
steadily climbing? Um, and what does that have to do with housing? So I'm excited to talk about all of that, and plus some,
Yeah.
I'm sure. But yeah, man, I'm excited, and
Such a good group of people there. Above and Beyond Cancer has
yeah,
been with my city, my health almost from the beginning. I don't know if they're at that
uh,
first conference, but at least the last two or three is like they've
yeah,
always supported
that's good.
and always there. And it's all love over there. I'm so excited.
Mhm.
There are good people over
Yeah,
there for sure.
yeah. Oh, it's been a joy already, and I haven't even started yet. So
Yeah, that's
I'm
cool.
very excited.
Well, bruh,
Yeah,
I appreciate you getting on the podcast, being on the
absolutely.
panel.
Yeah,
You guys, if you don't want to miss this year. This is a great year. Go to mycity.health. You can go to our conference page, see who's on the panel, on the Housing is Medicine panel, and all the other great panels we have. You can register. Be there. You don't want to miss. Not only is it our 5-year anniversary, it's my birthday, same
yeah,
day.
yeah.
So is we're going
Celebration.
celebration.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And also some valuable information
Mhm.
is going to be given. Bruh, I appreciate you. Thank you
Already.
so much for being
Of
here.
course.
Everybody, thank you so much for listening to My City Talks, powered by My City, My Health. We'll holler at you next time.